I did not wait for him. I immediately sent him all the information. These are my 4 assistants. I didn't ask. These are my 4 assistants. This is my director, my manager of applied sports science. I'm ready to go. What's up? And so that was it. And as soon as it happened, you know what I mean? He was like, great. All right, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the plan. And then we got him, you know. It was not a question. It was just I had to have the plan ready. So number one, have a plan, right? And I think having assistance and having, you know, will it always stay as you know, it happened, I guess, for me, I'm not sure, you know, but I had backups. I had these guys, and I contacted all the guys, and I said, hey, you ready to go? Like, let's get a plan ready. And so just being organized. I mean, being organized and having a plan. And then when you know, actually nuts and bolts of training, once again, have an idea. And I'll tell you this, when I got here, listen, I was never a head strength coach. Like programming, I had done over the years, and had some select groups, and you know the way that the previous head strength coaches I worked underneath is they pretty much planned everything, and then learning and pulling things here and there. It was all new to me, but I was like, here's my plan. So I guess it does go back to planning and organizing, but this is what we're going to do. And I truly believed in it and the philosophy, and obviously having a good staff to bounce things off of was tremendous and huge. But that was it. What was your other question? 3 of the other side, right?
Yeah, like what are probably the 3 things they should never do? Right? Because like the reason I ask this is I used to always ask Rob when I was working with him at Towson. I'd be like, you know, maybe once every quarter, something, or hey, you know, what are 3 things I'm doing great? What are 3 things you want to make sure I stop doing? Like just to kind of stay on pace, right?
I mean, the number one thing is to be close-minded. Like I'm telling you, one of the things we have here, and I'll be forthright, is we have a system, an accountability system. You remember seeing it, the SWAT system. Remember? So it's right now it's the in-season workout accountability teams, and it's a pretty in-depth system, if you will, of numbers and points that all collectively take into account a lot of different things in the working out in the weight room, on the field, excuse me, academics and discipline. Well, that was something that didn't really come about with Coach Kelly till 2017. And so prior to that, I was, it wasn't in my mind. And when he came here, he was like, we're doing this. And I probably, to be honest, would not have taken that if that was on my hierarchy of things to take. But I made it my own, molded it the way we wanted to, got really smart people behind me that we could implement the system I wanted. And it's been great, and it's been organized. And I really, really think it's it's a huge part of what we do, and I'm for it. And so that's the other thing, being open-minded. Don't be closed-minded. Like, don't say this is what we're doing and I'm sticking to it. Because then if Brian Kelly comes down and says, we need this, and we need to stretch our hamstrings. Like, got it, coach. I'll probably find a way to do it in a way that I want to do it, but still, you got to be able to show, hey, this is what we're doing. You see, coach, you want to do this? We got it. Like, in a way, and then just be confident. Don't, so I guess I'm kind of saying a lot of things that you should do, but don't be closed-minded. Don't be soft and get, your feelings hurt when the head coach says something, because if this is what you want to do, there's going to be some times where you got to do things that you might not fully believe in. It's but you got to make it your own. That's the thing. I would hope that you'd be in a place, that kind of goes back to my original conversation. Like, when you go to a place, like, be who you are, but also know that there's going to be the football coach, the assistant, the D-line coach. They're going to say, oh yeah, power clean. That's the exercise, man. That's it. And maybe you never power clean. Maybe you don't want to power clean, but maybe you can, entertain it for a little bit and then give them some knowledge back to why you would or wouldn't use it. So yeah. And just, I would say, don't worry about, the noise outside. If you take, because on the other side, if you take everything from everybody, then you're not going to be who you are. So, you got to be true to yourself.
Anybody listening right now might be like, man, I got to listen to some people, but not who. Who are these people I'm supposed to listen to, Jake?
That's for you to figure out. That's for you to figure out. I mean, hopefully you have some intuition and you have a subscription to to the Strength Coach Network, so that you have the right people to listen to when it comes time to it, the people that know what they're talking about in that realm. And then there's other, other entities or other, people you got to listen to, whether it's leadership and building good characteristics and, all those things.
Yeah, no, I'll speak to the leadership stuff. I mean, that was something that I was directly in charge of when I was at Iowa. And I mean, you wanted like every little thing. It was like, hey, did you go to the bathroom the right way? Like it was,
right.
It was record, rank, publish, everything, like all of
right.
the sled stuff. But the guys will truly, they said like that felt like that was kind of something that they knew, like every little detail mattered to try to teach them. The little things will add up over time. Yes, it might be little and certain things, but like how to just instill that life of doing things that matter because it's going to add up over time.
Yeah.
For you guys, and switching gears, going from up north, we talked about the weather change before we started, recording this. What is the piece of advice that you're going to give to any of our listeners that they may be training a team down south for the first time? Like, how real is it, and then how do you prepare for it?
Okay, I'll say this summer. So I've been here for 2 summers. Now this summer was very hot. The camp, our August, football camp, preseason camp, very hot, record setting for Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So how do we, to go back, my very first training session, first team run after I had been here in December for the bowl prep from the previous coaches. So that was an interesting, unique opportunity. But as soon as we started, hey, this is Coach Kelly's team. There was a team, I did a team run. I did a whole team workout outside at 6 a.m. and it happened to be like 31 degrees. And so I kind of set the tone there where it's like,
quick break from the show to remind you to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out and it helps you be notified when we have new content get released. So again, please hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy this content. And with that, let's get back to the show.
And I didn't know any better. I just wore shorts and a t-shirt. I'm not a tough guy. But I like to be a little bit cold. I just like to be. And they were like, Coach, you're crazy, man. We don't do this down here. And they were like frigid, like they couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is nothing. Like, we're just going to go. It doesn't matter, what the weather is, all this stuff. So maybe instilling that mindset from the very start that weather, and I told them, I said, you guys will pay me back. Don't worry. In the summers down here, we got like a day of summer up from where I'm from, and that was about it. And so I'll be sweating when it comes time to, but my mind was made up. And this is, once again, going back to Coach Kelly's philosophy. At the University of Cincinnati, we didn't have a practice field. We didn't have an indoor. We didn't have a practice field. We had to go. We were on the game field, and I don't know if you've been there, but it's in the middle of campus. It's wide open. But needless to say, whether there was snow or rain, or unless there was a huge risk at hand, we were outside, and that's where I'm going to go outside as much as I can. For the most part in training, and I knew from the start that we were going to train out in the elements. And actually, Coach Tommy Moffitt, who obviously is a legend in our field, who was previously here for 20 years, he was one of the first to reach out to me, and we've built a great relationship since I've been here, and he's been phenomenal for me and along the way. And he was like, Jake, you got to get ready for this. And he's like, it's going to be hot, it's going to be rainy. And the first summer, it rained every day. Not even like a joke. It rained every single day of the whole summer. But we were outside, whether it was a little bit rainy or hot, we were outside. And then this year, it didn't rain at all. We were in a huge drought, but it was super hot. And I just knew that we had to train in it, And so I was smart, obviously leaning on my athletic trainers and myself and my staff. Like, we weren't, putting our players at risk, but we had to train in the elements. And so to prepare for it is just that. And to I know it's a little cliche, but to give them the mindset that, like, no matter what, we got to go outside. Like, we got to play. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to be hot. It's going to be cold. It's going to be in the middle, whatever it is, we got to go. So that's kind of how we prepared for it. And, then as you go along, you lean on the people that are expertise at that. Hey, do we got to take a 10-minute break and go, into our, refrigerated boxes that we have? Do we have to go in the cool tent? Do we have to, maybe we can go outside for half the practice and go inside? Maybe, things like that along the way. You got to be flexible and willing to take advice from those who can make those choices.
Yeah, no, because I know it's been out there, not with you guys, but with other teams. Like, hey, we're getting ready. We have a kickoff at this time. It's going to be record high. Like, you have to go outside and prepare for that. On the flip side, how do you handle when it's cold if you've never been around it? Like, because that's the other side of it. Like, what do you do?
The best experience I have since I've been here is we played Arkansas last year, later in the year, and it was. Yeah, it was.
You guys had a big home game too.
Yeah, it was like in the 30s maybe. It was chilly, and of course, these guys play into that, man. They go, man, it's great, face mask and like basically have mittens on, and they're walking out like Christmas Story basically, and we played a video. We played that video. Of course, everything's taped, videoed these days. And we played the first team run that I had, where dudes, saw their breath while they were running, and had their hands covered up by their sleeves, it goes back to, we've done this, guys, and it's not that bad. Like, you can go. And we played that video prior to going out on the field, and we played it up a little bit, but use that to get them in the mindset that no matter what the temp is, we're going to go. And obviously, going back to like Dr. Frakes, having hot chocolate and bone broth and things like that, you got to have ideas. And even if it's just kind of placebo, like, hey man, drink this hot stuff and you'll be good to go, and the tough guys that put Vaseline on and things like that, it's, you find different ways to kind of trick them into, one, you think that you're making themselves think that they're tough by doing this, which has nothing to do with toughness, but whatever. Just going,
You just said the word tough a lot of times. What does the word tough mean to you, and how do you define it for the guys down there? And how do you think other coaches that are listening to this should use that as a framework? Obviously, they're going to make it their own, but how do you define it?
I thought about this a lot, and toughness, and it gets thrown around so much, and it's simple for me. Toughness is being consistently doing the right things all the time. Like, toughness to me is, and this is not how hard can you do one workout, how hard can you do a bunch of workouts. It's how hard can you do everything all the time. Can you show up on time? Can you be a good person? Are you going to hold the door for anybody, let alone a woman or child?
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Why don't you celebrate by watching more videos just like it? You can also help us on our quest to placate the algorithm gods by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you.